You see a truck. Steel rails, 16 tubes pointing skyward. Nothing fancy, nothing that screams revolution. The Germans call it Stalin's organ. The Soviets whisper Katyusha. July 14, 1941, a railway junction at Orsha, Belarus. Captain Ivan Flyorov positioned 7 of these trucks 5 kilometers east in the forest near Gadichi village. 3 in the afternoon. 112 rockets launch in under 10 seconds. The Orsha station evaporates. German troops, ammunition depots, fuel dumps, gone. Wehrmacht commanders send panicked reports back. The Russians deployed a battery with an unusual number of guns. Fire like a hurricane. Loss is quite impressive. That 10-second salvo just announced a weapon that would help turn the tide at Stalingrad 16 months later. Nikolai Tikhomirov tests the first solid fuel rocket. It flies 1,300 meters. Crude, unreliable, but it flies. Georgy Langemak joins the team. They work on aircraft rockets, RS-82 and RS-132, air-to-ground unguided. The tests are brutal. 186 RS-82 rockets fired at a tank from 500 meters. 2 hit. 134 RS-132 rounds. 0 hits. Accuracy is terrible, but the concept holds. Cheap, fast, devastating in volume. Military Collegium of the Supreme Court finds Langemak guilty, January 11, 1938. Articles 58-758-858-11. Death by shooting, property confiscation, sentence carried out same day. The men who built the foundation die. The rockets continue. Kostakov takes over. History forgets their names until 1991, when Mikhail Gorbachev posthumously awards them Hero of Socialist Labor, June 21, 53 years late. BM stands for Boyevaya Machina, combat vehicle, for M13 rockets, end of 1938. Large-scale tests, 233 rockets of various types, range 5,500 meters, complete target saturation. But the artillery branch hates it. 50 minutes to load and fire 24 rounds. A conventional howitzer fires 95 to 150 in the same time. Too slow, not accurate enough. 1940, BM-13-16 approved for production, 16 launch rails. June 1941, when Germany invades. Only 40 launchers built, 40 trucks with rails, against the entire Wehrmacht. This script is researched and factual, using sources from the Presidential Library of Russia, published July 25, and the World War II database, continuously updated through 2025, along with peer-reviewed military history from Warfare History Network, published August 2016. These aren't generic overviews. These are archival documents, technical specifications, battlefield reports. Now back to the information. The weapon itself, M13 rocket, 80 centimeters long, 13.2 centimeters diameter, 42 kilograms. 5-meter launch rails give direction, but not precision. 1942 tests show firing from 3,000 meters. The rocket can miss sideways by 51 meters maximum. Can overshoot or undershoot by 257 meters. Devastating? Yes. Accurate? No, but accuracy misses the point. A battery of 4 BM-13 launchers fires in 7 to 10 seconds, 4.35 tons of high explosives over 400,000 square meters, equivalent firepower of 72 conventional artillery guns. Then the trucks vanish. Reload takes 3 to 4 minutes, but standard procedure says move 10 kilometers away. The enemy can't counterfire what they can't find. Central Committee of the Communist Party issues resolution. Begin mass production of M13 rockets and BM-13 launchers. Hours before Operation Barbarossa. Stalin greenlights production literally on the invasion's doorstep. Early July. First separate experimental battery of field rocket artillery forms. 7 BM-13 launchers. Captain Ivan Flyorov commands. Crew includes cadets from Dzerzhinsky Military Artillery Academy. Enlisted men from Moscow Artillery School. They get 3 training sessions. 3. Representatives from Research Institute-3 who developed the weapon, A.I. Popov, D.A. Shetov, train them on the fly. July 2. Battery leaves Moscow under secrecy. Heads west to the front. July 9. Positions near Borisov. Night of July 12 to 13. Alert. Move toward Orsha. July 13 night. Soviet troops abandon Orsha. Fall back east across Dnieper and Orshitsa rivers. Wehrmacht survivors call them Stalin Orgel, Stalin's organ, like church organ pipes. But nothing holy about the sound. Railway station destroyed, trains obliterated, ammunition explodes. Crossing over Orshitsa River gone. The psychological impact matches the physical. Franz Halder, chief of Wehrmacht General Staff, writes in his diary, "The Russians used a battery with unusual number of guns. Troops under fire report hurricane-like volleys. Quite impressive losses. If capture is imminent, blow it up. Battery commanders answer with their lives for any launcher that falls intact to the enemy. Flyorov's battery operates July through October 1941. Western Strategic Front, then October 7, night. Village of Bogatyr near Znamensky district, Smolensk region. German ambush. Surrounded. No ammunition. Marshy terrain immobilizes the trucks. Flyer-off orders destruction. Severely wounded, he detonates the lead launcher with himself inside. 170 battery members. 46 escape the encirclement. The rest die or vanish. November 14, 1963. Presidium of Supreme Soviet Awards. Flyer-off Order of Patriotic War First Degree. June 21, 1995. President of Russian Federation grants him Hero of Russian Federation posthumously. Monuments rise in Orsha, Rudnya, near Bogatyr village. Iron memory for the man who fired first. Mid-1942. Production restarts, standardized kits, pre-assembled tubes, welded bolting heads, clear markings. Any light industrial facility can build them. No heavy equipment needed, like conventional artillery requires. By end of 1942, 3,237 Katyusha launchers delivered, all types. BM-8 light with 82mm rockets, BM-13 medium, M-30 static frames. War's end. 10,000 launchers total, 12 million rockets. Excellent cross-country performance. Robust construction, fast. By 1943, it becomes standard platform. Designated BM-13N, N for Normalizovany, standardized. 1,800 BM. 13N produced before war ends. Less common platforms. Railroad cars, river gunboats, wheeled trailers, even railway track lengths in urban combat. Single rockets mounted, point, fire, move. August 8, 1941. Stalin orders formation of 8 Special Guards mortar regiments. Direct control of Reserve of Supreme High Command. Battery complement standardizes at 4 launchers, 4 firing vehicles, 2 reload trucks, 2 technical support trucks. Each firing vehicle crew of 6. 3 batteries combine into division. 3 divisions into separate mine-firing regiment. June 1942. Heavy Guards mortar battalions form around M-30 static frames. 96 launchers. 3 batteries. July 1942. Battalion of BM-13s added to each tank corps establishment. By end of 1942, 57 regiments in service, plus independent battalions. Equivalent of 216 batteries. 21% BM-8 light, 56% BM-13, 23% EM-30 heavy. War's end. 518 battery equivalents. Red October Steelworks, Barmely Square, Pavlov's house. Every building becomes fortress, every room contested. 6th Army bleeds. Romanian 3rd Army holds northern flank. Romanian 4th Army holds southern flank. Italian 8th Army further north. German positions overextended, supply lines stretched, flanks vulnerable. Alexander Vasilevsky, Chief of General Staff. Operation Uranus. Double envelopment. Crush the flanks. Encircle 6th Army. Trap them in Stalingrad. Preparation is meticulous. Artillery pre-sighted, ammunition stockpiled, tank corps positioned, infantry divisions ready, secrecy absolute. November brings freezing temperatures, snow covers the steppes, Romanian positions thin, under-equipped, obsolete weapons, some dating World War I. Horse-drawn artillery, low morale. Officers treat men like peasants. Romanian and Hungarian units can't coexist. Age-old ethnic hatreds, more likely to shoot each other than Russians. November 19, 1942. 0720 Moscow time. 0520 German time. Soviet artillery commanders receive code word siren. 80-minute bombardment begins. 3 fronts attack simultaneously. Southwestern Front under Nikolai Vatutin. Don Front under Konstantin Rokossovsky. Stalingrad Front under Andrei Yeremenko. 1,100,000 Soviet personnel, 804 tanks. 13,400 artillery pieces. Over 1,000 aircraft. Facing them, Romanian 3rd and 4th Armies, German 6th Army in Stalingrad, German 4th Panzer Army remnants. Total approximately 430,000 Axis troops. Battery after battery of Katyushas send rockets screaming toward Romanian positions. Ghostly glow reflects off fog. Sound is apocalyptic. Wehrmacht veterans say it tests the courage of best German units. For Romanians of General Petre Dumitrescu's 3rd Army. Devastating. Strongpoints disintegrate, trenches collapse, communication lines severed, ammunition dumps detonate in spectacular explosions. Those who survive the first wave run. Then 3,500 guns and mortars join. Massed Soviet artillery, 80 minutes of hell. Romanian artillery emplacements destroyed, secondary positions hammered, fleeing troops caught in second wave of steel. Black earth churned from impacts mixes with snow, red blotches everywhere, dazed survivors near paralysis. Try to dig deeper, hopeless. Soviet 5th Tank Army under Pavel Romanenko. 21st Army under Ivan Chistyakov. Breakthrough sectors northwest and west of Serafimovich. Another penetration near Kletskaya. Romanian 3rd Army crumbles. By day's end, Southwestern Front advances 25 to 35 kilometers. Romanian defenses broken in 2 places. German mobile reserves too weak. 6th Army reacts too slowly. Armored forces trapped in Stalingrad city fighting can't disengage fast enough. Stalingrad front releases Tank Corps, 4th Mechanized Corps, 13th Mechanized Corps. German 297th Infantry Division watches Romanian support collapse. Confusion. Lack of coordination. Soviet Mechanized Corps struggle pushing through breakthroughs. But momentum builds. Piecemeal commitment. 4th Panzer Army tries plugging gaps. Fails. Soviet pincers drive deep. November 21. Northern and southern spearheads race toward link-up. 22nd November. Soviet forces cross Don River, advance on Kalash on the Don. German defenders, maintenance crews, supply staff. No idea attack is coming until November 21. Even then, don't know Soviet strength. 26th Tank Corps gets mission. Capture bridge at Kalak, use captured German tanks, scout vehicle approaches, opens fire on guards. Soviet forces break into town mid-morning, drive out defenders, link with 4th Tank Corps, link with 4th Mechanized Corps from south, encirclement complete. November 23, 1942, German 6th Army trapped. 290,000 Axis personnel caught east of Don River, pocket sealed. Throughout encirclement battle, they hammer German positions. October 6, 1942, photograph shows battery firing at German forces during Battle of Stalingrad. Throughout November and December, continuous bombardment. Soviet Supreme High Command Directive, October 1, 1941, notes, sudden, massive, well-prepared fire of divisions M8 and M13 provides exceptionally good defeat of enemy. Strong moral shock to manpower. Loss of combat capability. German soldiers' accounts describe madness. There were many cases of people becoming mad due to Soviet rocket launcher fire. Captured German corporal testimony. Red Army counteroffensive, 1941. The psychological weapon works. Sound, fury, unpredictability, no warning, just screaming death from above. Point them down streets, into buildings, fire. The shriek announces arrival milliseconds before impact. Flamethrowers clear sewers, cellars. Katyushas pulverize strongpoints. September 1942. Alone? 6th Army expends 25 million small arms rounds, 500,000 anti-tank rounds, 752,000 artillery shells, 178,000 hand grenades. German forces burn 300 to 500 tons of artillery ammunition daily. Consumption is staggering, and still, Katyushas add their weight. 4.35 tons per 4 launcher battery per salvo, every 7 to 10 seconds when ammunition permits. Gets within 48 kilometers, stopped. Katyusha is part of the defensive artillery. Hammer the German spearheads. Soviet Second Guards Army under Rodion Malinovsky counterattacks. Drives Germans back. January 1943, Operation Ring begins. Konstantin Rokossovsky's Don Front systematically destroys Paulus's trapped army. Katyushas provide preparatory fires. Breakthrough artillery, support for advancing infantry. By late January, German resistance collapses. Segments surrender. February 2, 1943. Field Marshal Friedrich Paulus surrenders. 91,000 German and Axis troops march into captivity. 250,000 died in the pocket from starvation, wounds, cold. Soviet artillery, including Katyushas. 4 BM-13 launchers equal 72 conventional artillery guns in single salvo firepower. Then they vanish. Reload somewhere else. Return. Fire again. The Germans develop their own Nebelwerfer 6-barreled mortar, but smaller capacity. 16 rockets versus Katyusha's 16 to 48. Not mobile. Leaves long trace in sky after firing. Reveals position. Germans capture Katyushas, try copying them. Fail. Special powder formula. Smokeless. Minimal trace. Germans can't replicate it. Their rockets explode in air before reaching target. They create 8-centimeter Raketen and Vielfachwerfer instead, based on Katyusha concept. Inferior execution. Used 1944 to 45. Too little, too late. Equivalent of 518 batteries. Every major operation. Moscow defense, Kursk, Belarusian operation, Vistula Oder offensive, Berlin assault. Katyushas provide fire support. Their distinctive howl becomes signature sound of Soviet artillery. Red Army troops love them. Call them affectionately by the name. Katyusha, Little Katie, from popular wartime song, or from the K marking on early rockets from Comintern factory. Origin disputed, affection undisputed. 4.3 kilometers versus M13's 8.47, but devastating blast radius. Over 10 meters, fragmentation effect. Introduced 1942 as M30 static frame, 4 to 8 rockets. Later truck mounted as BM31-12 on ZIS-12 chassis. 48 launchers per motorized heavy guards mortar battalion, 1944 deployment. Strategic turning point. Wehrmacht loses quarter of forces on Eastern Front. German offensive capability broken. Initiative passes permanently to Red Army. Katyushas play supporting role. Not decisive alone, but force multiplier. Terror weapon, morale destroyer. Rapid-fire saturation bombardment platform. Cost effective. 8,700 rubles per BM, 13 launcher, 1943 prices. Conventional artillery piece costs multiples more. Requires heavy industrial capacity. Katyusha built-in light facilities. Evacuation-proof. Distributed production, even under German occupation threat. Factories in Urals pump them out. G.E. Langemak. V.N. Luzhin. B.S. Petropavlovsky. B.M. Slonimer. N.I. Tykhomirov. The men who built the weapon before Stalin killed them. June 21, 1991. Exactly 50 years after production, green-lighted hours before war. History's bitter irony. Mass fire into valleys. Dien Bien Phu. Viet Minh deploy them against French. First Indochina War, 1954. BM-13 rockets devastate French positions. Uganda-Tanzania War, 1978-79. Tanzania, People's Defense Force nicknamed them Baba Mtakatifu. Kiswahili for Holy Father. Ugandans call them Saba Saba. Six-Day War, 1967. Israel captures BM-24 variants. Uses them Yom Kippur War, 1973. Lebanon War, 1982. Developed MAR 240 launcher. Same rockets. Sherman tank chassis. Innovation continues. Concept unchanged. Salvo fire. Area saturation. Terror effect. Iraq War. Insurgents use them against coalition forces in Green Zone. March 2008 documented strikes. Afghanistan, Angola, Syria, Yemen, Vietnam, wherever Soviet influence reached. Katyushas or their descendants followed. Simple, reliable, deadly. Can fire in 20 seconds. Developed in 1963, still in service. BM-27, Oregon, 16 tubes, 220mm rockets, 35km range. BM-30 Smerch, 12 tubes, 300mm rockets, 90km range. GPS guidance available, cluster munitions, mine-laying capability, anti-tank submunitions, chemical warheads. The evolution from crude M13 to precision Smerch spans 80 years. Core concept remains, truck-mounted, multiple tubes, rapid salvo, shoot and scoot. Guards mortar brigades, concentrated at breakthrough points, pre-sighted targets, synchronized with infantry and armor. November 19, 0730. First salvos announce attack. 80 minutes artillery preparation, then waves of Soviet armor and infantry. German flanks collapse. Romanian armies disintegrate. 6th Army encircled. Paulus trapped. February surrender. Total Axis losses, Stalingrad campaign. 850,000 killed, wounded, captured. German casualties approximately 400,000. Romanian, 150,000. Italian, 130,000. Hungarian, 120,000. Turning point of Eastern Front. Hitler's Wehrmacht never recovers. Strong points obliterated, communication cut, morale shattered. Then Soviet guns follow, then tanks, then infantry. Integrated system. Katyusha is shock component, paralyzing fear, disorganizing chaos. Then exploitation, classic Soviet deep battle doctrine. Artillery preparation creates breach, armor exploits, infantry consolidates. Katyushas excel at first phase, creating breach through terror and tonnage. 4 launcher battery, 16 rockets per launcher, 64 rockets per salvo, 42 kilograms per rocket, 2,688 kilograms total, 4.35 tons counting explosives and propellant. Impact zone 400,000 square meters, 40 hectares, 0.4 square kilometers, 7 to 10 seconds delivery time, then 3 to 4 minutes reload. Standard doctrine says relocate 10 kilometers, counterfire avoidance. But mass employment changes calculation. 57 regiments by end, 1942. Each regiment, 36 launchers, standard. 3 battalions. 3 batteries per battalion, 4 launchers per battery. 57 times 36 equals 2,052 launchers, plus independent battalions. Estimated 3,000 plus Katyushas operational November 1942. Not all at Stalingrad, but hundreds were. Concentrated on breakthrough sectors. Synchronized fire, devastating effect. Soviet breakthrough achieves penetration depths 25 to 35 kilometers first day. Unheard of against prepared defenses. Katyushas contribute. Opening the way, breaking the will, then Soviet maneuver elements pour through. 48th Tank Corps, 26th Tank Corps, 1st Tank Corps, 4th Tank Corps, 4th Mechanized Corps, 13th Mechanized Corps. Exploitation forces, racing for encirclement. Katyushas don't pursue. They don't need to. Job done. Front broken, panic zone, mobility advantage transferred to attackers. Soviet doctrine refined through blood. 1941 disasters, 1942 learning. Stalingrad represents maturity, coordination between artillery, armor, infantry, air, Katyusha's integral component. Not decorative, not supplementary, essential. Allies preparing North Africa offensive. Western Front looming. Eastern Front becomes grinding attritional nightmare. Red Army growing stronger. Equipment improving. Tactics refining. Katyushas spreading throughout formations. Every front gets guards, mortar units. Standardized organization. Predictable capabilities. Commanders learn employment doctrine. Maximize shock. Minimize exposure. Exploit mobility. It works. Soviet post-war analysis credits Katyushas with significant psychological impact. Physical destruction matters. But terror matters more. Wehrmacht soldiers trained to withstand artillery. Conventional shelling, mortars. Katyushas, different. No warning. No trajectory sound. Just screaming arrival and massive explosion. Pattern unpredictable. Reload time unknown to enemy. Might fire again immediately. Might fire hours later. Somewhere else. Constant threat. Unnerving presence. Battery commander liability for capture. Secrecy classification until post-war. Effectiveness recognized immediately. Mass production ordered July 1941. Within weeks of first use. Unprecedented speed. Usually Soviet bureaucracy slower. Katyusha merit obvious. Only 40 built by June 1941. 3,237 by end 1942. 10,000 by May 1945. Logarithmic production growth. Light industrial facilities. Distributed manufacturing. Standardized kits. Allows massive scaling. Conventional artillery production requires heavy plant, precision machinery, long production time. Katyusha, simple rails, welded frames, electrical firing system. Produced anywhere, mounted on anything. Flexibility enables mass deployment. Artillery branch skepticism, 50-minute reload criticism, June 1941. Invasion changes minds, combat effectiveness overcomes peacetime objections. Doctrine evolves, mass salvo then relocate. Avoid counterfire, it works, simple works. 42 kilograms weight, 5 kilograms high explosive warhead, fin stabilized, solid fuel, smokeless powder, 8,470 meters maximum range, 1942 testing, 3,000 meters range, 51 meters lateral deviation, 257 meters range deviation, acceptable for area weapon, unacceptable for precision. Design philosophy matches capability, not sniper rifle, shotgun. Blast zone not pinpoint, devastating regardless. Guards, mortars, public designation. Soldiers call them Katyusha anyway. Germans call them Stalin Orgel, Stalin's organ. Both names stick. Historical record uses both. Eventually Germans get one. Late 1941. Without rockets, without propellant. Study the launcher. Reproduce it. Test their own rockets. Fail. Explode mid-flight. Powder formula wrong. Can't replicate Soviet mixture. Develop alternative. 8-centimeter Raketenvielfachwerfer. Similar concept. Inferior execution. Limited deployment, doesn't match Katyusha impact. Technical refinement ongoing. BM-13N standardized on Studebaker chassis, 1943. Cross-country capability, reliability, speed. American truck proves ideal platform. Lend-lease contribution. 1,800 BM-13N produced. Plus thousands on Soviet trucks. Plus BM-8 variants. Plus M-30 static frames. Plus BM-31 heavy launchers. Comprehensive rocket artillery program. Coordinated doctrine. Effective employment. Soviet artillery trinity. Conventional guns, mortars, Katyushas. Each role defined. Synergy achieved. From Orsha, July 1941, to Berlin, April 1945. The weapon that began in secret. Ends in triumph. 10,000 launchers, 12 million rockets. Countless German soldiers driven mad. Soviet soldiers calling them affectionately Katyusha, Little Katie, Stalin's organ, Guards mortars. The truck-mounted rocket launcher that changed warfare. Tikhomirov. Langemak, arrested and executed 1937. Kostikov takes over, continues work. BM-13 designed August 1939. 40 built by June 1941. First combat, Orsha, July 14, 1941. Captain Flyarov. Destroyed rather than captured October 1941. Mass production, July 1941 onward. 3,237 by end 1942. Stalingrad, November 1942. Operation Uranus, double envelopment. Katyusha's open attack. November 19-0, 7:30. First salvos. 80-minute bombardment. Romanian armies collapse. German Sixth Army encircled. February 1943 surrender. 10,000 launchers by May 1945. Continued service post-war. Korea, Vietnam, Middle East, Africa. Still in derivative forms today. BM-21 grad. Ubiquitous modern descendant. It works. Justice delayed, but acknowledged. Langemak crater on Moon named for him. Small recognition. Giant contribution. Surprise achieved. Flanks crushed. Encirclement executed. February 2, 1943. Paulus surrenders. Stalingrad secured. Turning point achieved. Katyushas didn't win alone. But they opened the door. 10-second salvos, 4.35 tons of explosives, 400,000 square meters saturated. Then Soviet armor poured through. Then encirclement closed. Then Germany lost the war. Battery logs, ammunition expenditure reports, post-battle assessments, technical evaluation documents, Presidential Library Russia digitized collections, photographs, October 6, 1942. Katyusha battery firing at German positions during Stalingrad battle. RIA Novosti archive. Combat effectiveness reports, October 1, 1941 directive. Supreme High Command. Sudden massive fire. Exceptionally good defeat of enemy. Strong moral shock. Loss of combat capability. The evidence exists. The impact documented. The weapon proved. July 14-19. 41 first use. November 1942. Stalingrad. 3,237 produced by end 1942. 10,000 total. Visitors read. Photograph. Move on. History preserved in iron and stone. Who ran through 80-minute bombardment? Who surrendered February 1943? Who never forgot the sound? Romanian 4th Corps. Romanian 6th Corps. Both collapsed within hours. German liaison officers report Romanians abandoning weapons, equipment, vehicles, everything. Running eastward, Soviet breakthrough exploitation faces minimal resistance. Romanian morale already fragile. German treatment dismissive. Equipment inadequate. Winter clothing insufficient. Then Katyusha's strike. Final straw. Mass desertion follows. German 4th Corps tries plugging northern breakthrough. 14th Panzer Division commits. 109th Infantry Division. Too scattered. Too weak. Soviet 5th Tank Army floods through gap. 25-kilometer advance by nightfall. Southern breakthrough, similar story. Romanian 4th Army Sector. Romanian 6th Corps. Romanian 7th Corps. Both shattered by artillery preparation. German 297th Infantry Division isolated. 4th Panzer Army fragments trying to respond. Soviet 57th Army. 51st Army, 4th Mechanized Corps. All pour through breaches. 20 to 30 kilometer penetrations. Encirclement arms extending. November 20, November 21, November 22. Kalak falls. Link-up achieved. 6th Army surrounded. Hitler refuses. Orders 6th Army hold Stalingrad. Luftwaffe will supply by air. Hermann Goering promises. 500 tons daily. Impossible. Winter weather. Soviet fighters. Anti-aircraft artillery. Actual delivery averages 90 tons daily. Nowhere near enough. 6th Army needs 750 tons daily minimum. Starvation begins. December, January. Soldiers eating horses, leather, anything. Frostbite, disease, morale collapse. Soviet pressure constant. Artillery bombardment daily. Katyushas included. German perimeter shrinks. January 1943. Split into two pockets. Northern pocket, southern pocket, both contracting. Soviet Operation Ring methodically destroys them. Rokossovsky's Don Front. Systematic reduction. February 2. Paulus surrenders southern pocket. Last resistance ends February 2. 91,000 prisoners march out. Most die Soviet captivity. Only 6,000 return Germany eventually. 1955 onward. Stalingrad becomes synonym for catastrophe. German military history. Turning point. Disaster. Unrecoverable loss. Artillery concentration. 13,000 pieces, including Katyushas. Armor massing. 804 tanks initially. More arrive. Combined arms coordination. Infantry, armor, artillery, air, synchronized assault, decisive exploitation, rapid encirclement. But psychological dimension matters too. Katyusha terror effect. Romanian panic. Chain reaction collapse. Opening exploitation opportunity. Soviet doctrine emphasizes shock. Deep penetration. Rapid exploitation. Katyushas deliver shock component. Physical destruction. Psychological paralysis. Then exploitation forces pour through. Classic execution. Stalingrad validates theory. Breakthrough sectors. Northern pincer, southern pincer, multiple regiments, hundreds of launchers, synchronized salvos, sequential firing, continuous bombardment effect. Psychological impact multiplies. Not single strike. Sustained terror. 80 minutes. November 19 morning. Then continued fires throughout breakthrough battles. November 20, 21, 22. Katyushas support advancing formations. Suppress German counterattacks. Break up forming defensive lines. Enable rapid penetration. Mobility proves crucial. Conventional artillery slower, requires towing, limbering, displacement. Katyusha trucks drive away. 2 minutes after firing. 10 kilometers away. Reload. Return. Fire again. Speed enables persistence. Persistence enables sustained pressure. Sustained pressure breaks enemy will. Katyusha's noted specifically. Psychological weapon category. Physical effect significant. Psychological effect greater. Recommend countermeasures. Rapid counterfire immediate after launch, but Soviet doctrine anticipates. Shoot and scoot fundamental. By time German counterfire arrives, Katyusha is gone, 10 kilometers away. Doctrine works. German counterfire ineffective. Can't suppress what you can't hit what keeps moving. Tactical problem without solution. German rocket artillery never matches Soviet scale, never achieves same psychological impact. Soviet advantage maintained. Operation Little Saturn. Soviet offensive. Voronezh front attacks. Katyushas in assault preparation. Hungarian Second Army collapses. 100,000 casualties. Army ceases exist. Another demonstration. Katyusha effectiveness. Pattern established. Target weak sectors. Heavy artillery preparation including Katyushas. Psychological shock. Physical destruction. Breakthrough exploitation. Encirclement. Soviet formula works. January 1943. Italian Alpine Corps sector. Soviet assault. Italian troops fight harder than Romanians or Hungarians. Still overwhelmed. 20,000 casualties. 40,000 captured. Axis coalition fractures. Strategic situation unsustainable. Hitler's alliance structure crumbling. Stalingrad catalyst. Katyusha's accelerator. Special training. Better equipment. Priority supply. Guards Mortar Regiment. Typical designation. Guards Mortar Brigade for larger formations. Dedicated rocket artillery formations. Centralized control. Front-level assets. High Command directs employment. Breakthrough sectors. Main effort support. Doctrine professionalized. Results consistent. M13. DD smoke rocket for screening. M30 rocket enlarged. 300mm bulbous warhead. 29 kilograms explosive. Originally static frame Rama. Later truck-mounted BM31. Heavy firepower. 4.3 kilometers range. 10-meter plus fragmentation radius. Berlin assault, April 1945. BM31's pulverizing German strongpoints. BM8, approximately 1,500. BM13, approximately 7,000. BM31, approximately 1,500. Total 10,000 launchers. 12 million rockets, all types. Industrial production unmatched. Quantity has quality. Stalin's phrase applies to Katyushas perfectly. Excellent cross-country performance. Superior to Soviet Zayas trucks. Faster, more reliable, better spare parts. Supply. 1,800 BM-13N built on Studebakers. Standard platform 1943 onward. American industrial capacity. Soviet military doctrine. Effective combination. Other Lend-Lease trucks receive Katyushas. International Harvester. Ford. Chevrolet. GMC. Whatever available. Adaptability advantage. Any truck works. Rails bolt-on. Electrical system simple. Conversion quick. Field modification possible. Versatility enables rapid expansion. Enemy resistance ceasing. Advance beginning. Positive memories for Soviet troops. Terror weapon for Germans. Morale boost for Soviets. Psychological effect cuts both ways. Emboldens friends. Terrifies enemies. Perfect weapon characteristic. Trenches collapsing. Equipment destroyed. Comrades dead. Wounded everywhere. Communication cut. Officers dead. Chaos. Panic. Flee. Run. Anywhere but here. Surrender thoughts. White flags. Anything to stop the screaming. Psychological breakdown documented. Medical reports. Combat stress. Shell shock. Katyusha-specific syndrome. German psychiatrists study survivors. Recommend rotate troops away from sectors facing Guards mortar units. Impossible. Soviet Katyushas everywhere. All sectors. All fronts. 1943 onward. No escape. Central Armed Forces Museum, Moscow. Multiple examples. Different variants. Historical record maintained. 1942 through 1945 editions. Katyusha employment doctrine documented. Training materials. Gunnery tables. Safety procedures. Archives. Hold originals. Historical research access. Technical specifications. Verified. Actual combat effectiveness. Documentation proves reality. Illusion. Petropavlovsky. Slonimer. Tikhomirov. The actual developers. The executed engineers. The forgotten heroes. Justice delayed 5 decades, but justice delivered. Crater Langemak on lunar surface. Permanent memorial. Surviving relatives receive medals. Ceremonies held. Press coverage. Historical record corrected. Truth acknowledged. Better late than never. Cold comfort to the dead. Important, nonetheless. Guards mortars. Names matter less than legacy. Changed rocket artillery forever. Established truck-mounted multiple launch rocket system as standard weapon type. Every modern army fields descendants. American MLRS, British guided MLRS, Chinese PHL systems, Indian Pinika, Turkish T-Series, Brazilian Astros. All trace ancestry to BM-13, concept proven Stalingrad, refined through war, exported worldwide, evolved continuously. Remains relevant today, 85 years after first test. The legacy of Nikolai Tikhomirov's 1,300-meter rocket flight, March 1928, to BM-21. Grad firing and conflicts worldwide today. Continuous evolution. Unchanging concept. Devastating effectiveness. That's the story. That's the weapon. That's Katyusha.